Devotional, the Depeche Mode experience.
I met a lot of my heroes too. I mean, I met Depeche Mode. I met.
That was going to be one of my
Yes.
questions. How was that?
That was
Did,
crazy.
now, who exactly did you meet? If you don't.
I met Martin Gore first
Okay.
because Martin Gore lives in Santa Barbara.
Barbara, yeah.
And
people do see him around there.
yeah,
so,
he's like very, very just. Martin is very approachable. He's very humble. Very humble soul.
People that I've heard that met him, they say that he's very shy.
Yeah, he's very like an
Very
introvert.
shy.
He's like,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, why are you outside then, Martin? If you're so shy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I got to meet him, and he was doing a holiday event to raise money for a charity of his liking for kids for school for instruments and all that. And he would DJ, so you would pay $100, and it wasn't like 1,000. It was just a few, like
a couple of-
200,
yeah.
300 at a venue out in Santa Barbara.
And that's the one thing, sorry to interrupt you, that's the one thing that I think sometimes Depeche Mode forgets that they're famous, because when the interviews that I've seen or the things that I've seen, they always act surprised. Like, oh, you know that? Oh, yes, I did that. I'm like, yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to these concerts and they're selling out, what do you think, But
Let's look at the ticket prices for this tour.
I don't want to address that because that's gonna bring out another person. I don't want to.
But no, going back to like meeting Martin for the first time, and it was awesome because I was there and I met Kessler. It was just meant to happen. When you're there, things happen. And I was wearing my leather jacket and I saw Martin. I was like, oh my God, he's right here. And then there was an opportunity where he looked at me, I looked at him, and I said, he was drinking while he wasn't drinking at the time. I think
he quit.
He quit.
He quit. Yeah.
And I was like, Martin, I didn't come out like I didn't want to scare him. Like I was starstruck because like this is my hero,
Yes.
And he was there and like I just had a conversation with like, hey Martin, nice to meet you. This is awesome, And so there was a photographer, and he kept snapping pictures. So I have pictures from this side, pictures on that side. My first pictures with Martin Gore, and you look like I've known Martin for years, having a conversation with him. And then after that, I met him when he would do the Santa Barbara gigs. I met him a second time and a third time. The last time I saw Martin was at the NAMM convention, which is a convention that happens in Anaheim, which is all the music companies, keyboards, DJ stuff. So there was a company that does keyboards, of course. The Depeche Mode use these, the Moog, and I happened to be there.
Because he has a whole
totally.
collection,
Yeah, he's
right?
got a room
He's got his own. Yeah.
He ended up people were like, I just got an email from like Martin Gore who wants to buy my equipment. Because it's like, it's like those are like antiques now.
Yeah, he wants to collect. I think he got rid of some of his stuff.
And there's an interview. He's like, yeah, I'm just a collection freak. I go online and I go to eBay or whatever, and I'm buying stuff. And he's got a wall of stuff. And so he's a collector of keyboards and synthesizer and modules and stuff. So I remember being there at the Moog station, and I'm looking at this presentation of a new synthesizer, and then I kind of looked to my left, and Martin Gore's right next to me. Right next to me.
Oh.
And I'm just like, I looked and I looked to my friend, I go, dude, Mark goes right here. And he's like, and then he was there with his tech guy, and I remember his assistant. He's the one who would set up Martin's DJ stuff.
Okay.
So he looked at me and he was like, he kind of reckoned it because he saw videos of me doing the tribute.
Right.
Like,
and he mentioned that.
Yeah, and then he was like, hey, and I looked at Martin, and I looked at me, and he was like, hey, you're that guy from the tribute. And I was like, yeah, Martin, hey, like, good to see you. It was like, and then we were just there. I was like, oh my God, this is nuts.
Yeah.
And we're both just enjoying that moment together. And then everybody started like, hey, there's Martin Gore. So he was like, people started coming.
Yeah.
And then we had just a good conversation. We talked about, I asked him, hey, what console are you using for DJing? Oh, I use Traktor. I was like, oh, that's what I use too. And then he asked me, he just was like, so how do you feel about using Traktor? I was like, oh, it's awesome. It's like, I use Beatport, and then I import out stuff. So we're talking about tech stuff.
Yeah.
With Martin Gore, And then after we saw the showcase of this new module that their Moog was promoting, and then I just said, Martin, do you mind if I take a picture with you?
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. I was like, I have
Yeah.
I was like, okay, here's now. Yeah, sure. And I kind of lifted my cell phone, And then I took the snapshot, and that was it. So I was like, this is gonna be great, you know. Now, you know, so I posted it up on right away, and I said goodbye and all that. And then there was a magazine, a British magazine called The Mirror.
Okay. Well, I've heard of the Mirror.
They've
Yes.
been around for, they're like a tabloid newspaper.
It seems like
I
it,
think
yeah.
it is, you know. So a week after that, or maybe a few days after that, my friend goes, "Hey, Freddie, you were featured on The Mirror." What? And it said tribute band singer meets his, you know, hero Martin Gore. And I can send you the, it's still there. I'll send
Yes.
it to you.
Okay.
And it says like, wow, it's amazing how, you know, the tribute singer met his
Yeah.
hero. And so there's a picture of me, and that was like just those moments where, and then after that I've met Martin a few times. I met Kessler, so that was meeting Martin.